Hello. Hi,
Hi,
Far.
hi, how's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I just want to make sure, did you say you had like some 3D software that you want?
Uh, no, not this time. Not this time. It's gonna be just us.
Okay. Okay. All good. All good.
real flash.
Okay. Wow. It's such an honor. It's such an honor for you to show your face this time. I bet the audience is very interested as well. Um, can you share a little bit about your background, how you got here? You have quite the prolific background, so I didn't want to steal your thunder, so I didn't say very much. People know that you're behind one of the key people behind the Taproot Wizards. But in addition to that, maybe you can share a little bit more. I didn't know how much to say, so please be my guest. Share as much or as little as you like. Before we jump into this, let the audience get to know you. Thanks.
Yeah. So I have a background in engineering, and fine art, kind of like a both combined. So yeah, as you say, like I kind of like did like a lot of. I have like a weird background maybe, but yeah, I study engineering. I study also design and architecture and fine art, the three degrees. Uh, and I was always fascinated by how the art side of engineering, like how engineering is represented. So it's kind of like it was back then. It was like a weird interest, but now it makes more sense now that everyone's kind of like into the visual art and technology, like this combination. So yeah, I got into crypto. To fast forward, like I got into crypto in around 2015. A friend of mine, kind of like a red pill me, like he called me like in an hour. He explained me the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper. And then I was like, wow, like okay, because before I hear about it, but I didn't really pay attention. I think it happened to a lot of us. But then I got deep into it, and I was like, wow, this is like a very transformational. So yeah, I never look back. So since then, I have been having like this kind of like a duality of having been in crypto and having an art career at the same time. And luckily, in the past years, with the emergence of NFTs and many artists and creators being onboarded into the space, and also like a crypto people like having appreciation for art and cultural value. It was like a great timing for me because it's merging the two worlds. So yeah, I think I started to do NFTs in 2021 as my name, like FR, which is my initials, and I had done stuff in most chains, but when Ordinals came out, I thought like, wow, this is for real. Like this is the most interesting opportunity here to make art in the blockchain. So here we are.
Super, super. Thanks for that. So yeah, I mean, it's 2015, so it's almost a decade since, like you're definitely like a front runner. And I remember you told me you also started like a blockchain club, right? Before.
Yeah. So I was at Harvard University, and one of those things like in crypto, you are like either on Reddit or Twitter. Like I say, you don't know that many folks. So I was over there. I was like, okay, maybe I should start a club. So I started at the graduate school of design a club, and it was very funny because it was a small room with three or four of us, and talking about meeting in IRL. And then after that, like I spoke with other people in other schools within the university, and then we met also. It was very interesting because I met like a very good friends that today, like we are very good friends, like Dennis. Dennis wrote a very interesting article about Ordinals. He has been part of the team of the Taproot Wizards as well. So we met back then in the club, and it's pretty good because also, I mean, I'm not attached to the club anymore, and because the things that were the things work in schools, it's like one camp, and go, and then other people come in, pick up. But it's very interesting because I just met like a few undergrads from Harvard, and then they say like, oh no, we are running the club, the Harvard club. I was like, wow, that's so
And
that's
you
so cool.
started
Well, I mean, you know, we started in the design school. Like some other people started in other schools. It's kind of like this kind of decentralized, but I kind of like that, right? Because it's like that's the kind of like the nature of how things work. At the end of the day, you know, like this is it created like this fostering, like it's talking about ideas, sharing like what we see, like we read online, etc. etc.
I like how you mentioned brought the point that back then you started the Harvard Blockchain Club, and then now at Taproot Wizards, somebody you met back then is now working on this project with you. Did I hear that correctly?
You're exactly right. So basically, Dennis, well, everyone knows Dennis. I mean, he kind of like wrote this article about Ordinals, and this is when I guess like after that we kind of like kick it the thing. So Dennis, back in last year, Dennis was friends with Udi and Eric Wall, and he asked me, he's like, hey, Eric and Udi are interested in making a project. Would you be interested? I was like, yeah, actually, why not? Like, I really like Bitcoin, and, I'm doing everything on Ethereum right now, but I'd be very interested. I have been willing to do a PFP for such a long time, but I need like the right idea, right? I wanted to make something meaningful. So I met with Udi, and the Ordinals, the protocol wasn't ready or anything like that. So we were thinking about making something for Bitcoin, and we were brainstorming back then, which is interesting. Like many people think that maybe with Taproot Wizards we just jumping into the bandwagon, but we were thinking about this for a long time already. So we're thinking then, and we had a lot of conversations. But then crypto went kind of like a ballistic in the downside, right? We had like unfortunate events with FTX and other things, like, so we kind of like pause it. But we kept talking. We had a chat with talking about just general ideas. But yeah, that was Dennis made the introduction, which is interesting. And then when Dennis wrote the article, we kind of like got together again, and then we kick it out. But yeah, Dennis is we met back in the club.
Yeah. So, and talking about Dennis, your team, this project I've been wanting to do for a PFP that you've been wanting to do for a long time, the Taproot Wizards. Did I, we were talking about this earlier. Did I hear you correctly that, it started sort of like as a side project, as a hobby, and then it's just sort of like
no side project. I think like organically we wanted to do something for the community. Like that's the intention, and it's still like an intention right now. Like we wanted to educate people about Bitcoin, and I think the strengths, Udi and Eric are very, very, very important people in the space. And I, that me getting into the team, like I'm more into the creative side and NFTs, and which is, NFTs brought to crypto like such a great value, right? Because it's like a way to onboard people. So that was a great combination, because we were talking about how do we do this? Like how do we get people to use Lightning, for instance, right? So you can call it a side project, right? But it was like a community, one of the community initiatives like we were just taking part of. Yeah.
Yes, it is a big contribution to the Bitcoin community. And on behalf of all of them, we thank you. I also, me and many people I knew, we submitted videos. that was pretty fun.
I'm watching it. Very good.
Thank you. I regret, like, I should have like waited like a few more hours, and because after I turned in, there's like other videos that were even better. And if I had known about those, I would have upped the game for sure. But yeah, but I appreciate it. I think it's still pretty competitive. I've been so busy with the Bitcoin Olympics hackathon last few days. I haven't been able to check back. Is Quest 4 activated or not yet?
No, not yet.
All right, good. So I still have time. All right. So guys, you guys need to go to Taproot. What's their website? Taprootwizards.com
.com.
or okay,
Yeah.
taprootwizards.com. So if any listeners interested to, if you don't know about this yet, you should definitely learn about it soon. It's very fun.
Yeah, and the
It's
school is school.taprootwizards.com.
yeah, school.taprootwizards.com. School.taprootwizards.com, and there's some fun quests on there. The quests are just 3 quests in, so there's still plenty of fun. I expect the next quest to be fun also. Okay, and Far, what other projects are you building? I know that this is like you're quite prolific, and this is just one of them. What's another one that excites you?
Well, I'm a full-time artist to begin with, so I'm making art, and that I guess my art it dives deep into the technology in a way that and this has been my practice for many years, for over 10 years. Like I get deep into the technology understanding, so that implies even to manage with it, learning how to play with it. So this has led me to identifying some of the problems that there is for artists to create artworks nowadays, right? With technology. So I have been trying to make tools for artists to create artworks, generative artworks in the blockchain, and that's something I'm doing with my company. It's called Fine. We're trying to create a suite of tools for creating assets that deal with the blockchain at a meaningful level, not just uploading something to IPFS and have a link. So I'm trying to make something that or allow people to make things that speak with the blockchain, like making things on chain. And so that's what I'm working on, apart from Taproot Wizards. Yeah.
So do you mind if I mention that out of almost 10,000 applicants, you're the top 20 that get accepted into A16Z? Do you mind if I mention that? I sort of just
No, it's fine.
it.
It's public information. It's all right. We apply. My co-founder and I, we came out with this idea of saying, I mean, as I said before, identifying the problem, right? There is so much room to do here with the apply the blockchain into the assets. So we came out with this idea of creating these tools for creating the assets interoperable, working with composability, and yeah, they in I16C they really they saw the value with it, and then we came here, and then we have been here a month. This is interesting because we apply after while we're doing the Taproot Wizards, which was a community oriented. So now it's the two things together at the same time, which is okay. It's all everything is side by side aligned, because it's all about how you embed the culture on chain, right? Put it this way.
Yeah, no, so that's I think this is very exciting. So on one hand, you have the Taproot Wizards, which is pioneering the culture for Bitcoin, and then on the other hand, you have another project, because you're a creator, you're artist yourself, and then you want to create something very meaningful on chain for creators and artists, right?
Yeah.
Called Fine. And so I think it's safe to say that you are pioneering, or you're on the Bitcoin, or you're on the frontier. You're on the frontier of this type of innovation, right? So I like using this word, like it's like a frontier line. It's like an imaginary line there, but everything behind the line is discovered already. It's discovered. We know it. There's maps, there's roads, etc. But everything beyond that line is wilderness. There's no maps. There's no roads. And only the people on the very front line can tell you what works and what doesn't, right? And this is and a lot of things that don't work, those could become potentially really big ideas, startups or tools that will pave the road, so we could go forward on the frontier line. So with that said, what do you think? Like, people have a pretty clear idea of the value creating. Now, let's bring in 2 other elements. One element is where you sort of see this sustainable Bitcoin economy evolving to, like your greater vision why you're doing this. And then you're right, this is such a huge thing that we need a lot of people to collaborate, to build together, right? What are the other things that are missing there on the frontier line that you wish, if you had more time, you'd build before the next Bitcoin halving?
Well, I think right now is just like an incredible moment for Bitcoin. Just circling back what I'm saying, like you know, you need to create a layer above to. It's part of the. It's kind of like a user experience, improving that. But it's this layer to get all these creators to start to make work, right, as ordinals, and start to leverage on the blockchain. I think there is a lot of limitations, and well, limitations are good, right, because that create the artworks, you know, allow artists creating artworks that are for Bitcoin, right? So I think that is fascinating right now, because there is a lot of room for new developments into different, like we see, for instance, we see a lot of things have been done on Ethereum in that front with NFTs. Other chains, of course, that have been trying to replicate that. But Bitcoin is very different the way it works. And we can take a lot of the things from Ethereum, but also thinking about how powerful it is in Bitcoin, that everything is on chain and is the most decentralized network ever. So we need to think about Bitcoin as a place where fine art is going to be a store, right? And then we have like this artist, or not even artists, like it can be like you know, brands and designs, or these objects are going to be stored, digital objects, valuable, are going to be stored on chain. So you need to allow that to happen. You know, you cannot expect like just the best design brand or artist in the world just coming and say, okay, I'm gonna do this, right? What do I do to, you know, now I have many artists ask me like, oh, I want to get in. What do I need to do? Like I have a film I want to put it on chain. I was like, okay, hold on a second, you know, there's like we cannot do just that, right? So, but I think that's what I see. Like it's right now, it's a blank canvas. It's amazing, right? It's a great moment to be involved in the space.
Yeah, no, it is a blank canvas. So it's really more about, I think imagination is you know, and I like to hear because you're an artist and you're multidisciplinary, right? You're not just an artist, but you're also an engineer, and you've done so many things. Like, I mean, when I think about when I have inspirations or creativity, I don't know where it comes from, but I know part of it comes from my past experience. And then a lot of it comes from maybe like the past experience in my subconscious, but then also like what is the information I'm taking in like the, you know, in the now, right? And then a few moments later or a few days later, it comes as an inspiration into something creative or something useful. Now, I'm curious how you sort of see imagination and creating something. Like what is your take on that?
For me, I have an approach. It's very interesting because for the approach I have to art making is like a very from an engineer. Like I think like as an engineer, so I just go. I study a technology. I study the history of things, and then I start to leverage on that. Like for instance, when you see the Tapper Wizard, which is a good example, I just went. You know, we had the original meme created by Maven's bot. So. You know, I went deep into it, and let's extract parts from it. Like you have like the pixelation, like the fact that it was a small image, like you know, and it was on Reddit, and yeah, this is an example. Like so, for me, it's yeah, I guess like you know, the imagination is embedded. Like everything, even engineering is a creative process, right? So. But I take this approach, like I like to leverage on information. So I got into the history of things and the technical aspect into it. And it has been like that for my practice. You know, if I want to do a work, for instance, about, you know, for many years, I have been working in with computer graphics. Like that's actually the topic of my PhD. And I dive into like learning about all the algorithms, shaders, and I end up doing like studying how the water was simulated with computer graphics, and I, you know, because that reason, like I just went and see like and I did an archaeology of video games, how the water was represented in video games, and then and in films. And that alone, that research, it triggered my art creation, right? Because as an artist, what you want to do is just to share knowledge. In my opinion, my practice is about sharing knowledge, on making knowledge more available for people. Yeah, so other artists might work other way. I'm at the end of the day, I'm an engineer at core, so I very I don't want to get lost into I don't know what to do. I need to wait for inspiration. I'd rather go into the very pragmatic side of things.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that. I hope that was inspirational. That was a good sort of framework on how to do this. Yeah, so I know you're really busy, Far, and we really appreciate you taking time supporting the Bitcoin Hackathon. Now, okay, let's fast forward a week from now, and this is when people are going to be turning in their submissions, right? They're going to be turning their code, and they're going to be turning in like a 3-minute video to talk about why it's so why this is important, why it's useful. Now, what kind of project would sort of catch your eye? Because I know you have a family, you're going to A6 and Z, you have two projects going on, very successful projects. And of course, the videos, I'm sure you didn't expect to get 4,000 or 5,000, right? So I'm sure you guys have your hands full with that, right? So you don't have a lot of free time, but what would excite you so much that you would say, oh, I would want to talk to that team, right? And work with them, or maybe get to know them, or maybe it's like a strategic partner.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, something that would excite you, right? What would be a product that would excite you a week and a half from now?
Well, I think I kind of say it already. So you need to, you have an artist. The problem is okay, I want to make this art piece. I want to make an ordinal, right? And so you're gonna get an object, digital object, could be a video file or whatever. This needs to be formatted, right? Now this is a problem. You talk to, Gamma is doing one thing, it's doing some type of compression, other people, but you cannot take when you compress an image, for instance, that create a totally different artwork. So I think that's a pretty interesting problem to solve in a meaningful way, how to format files, for instance, for get it ready, or how you can start to make references in between inscriptions and stuff like that. So I think this is enough. Let's say take that problem, and try to solve it. I think that will be very. Well, I would like to talk to that team. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that inspiration. So, and again, this is all I'm talking to the audience right now. This is only these are insights that we can only get from people on the frontier, from where Far is. So Far, I want to, after this offline, I want to get what you just said, in your words, and we're going to put it into the hackathon Discord under the ideas, and I'm going to put Far next to it, right? And then so this will be a list of ideas, and with enough people that participate, I'm sure someone's going to pick that up, right? And hopefully we can give you some good news a week and a half from now. Now, I believe John Ennis, right?
Yeah, of course.
I see him in the waiting room because he's right after this. I just had this is a last minute thing. How about we bring him on and then we can have a 3-way?
That... John and I, we talk every week. Also we talk forever. If you bring him in, we're gonna talk forever.
All right. Yeah, well, how's that? All right, let's bring him into the room. Here we go. John, I hope you're next to your desk.
We're gonna meet in New York too. We haven't met yet in person, so hopefully you'll see him in New York.
Oh wow, okay. we got a 3-way going now. Hi, John. Sorry, so here he comes.
Okay, hang on. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
Okay, good. I don't need to be on the audio in the space, right? I can just be here on Zoom.
Yeah, you just be here on Zoom and muted on the Twitter space. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. How you doing, Far? Nice to see you.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
So how do you guys feel? Next week is NYC, right? It's what happening on 12th? How do you guys feel
I gotta
for the first time?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be good meeting all the folks. This year is gonna be special, right? Because what happened with Ordinals. So there is a lot of people that I want to meet in person because we have been the last I don't know how long, like the last month or two. I lost the sense of time, but we have been met a lot of people online. So I think we're gonna meet them in real life. So this is pretty exciting. It's gonna be very exciting next week.
Yeah, I agree that if one thing, you only have the people who really care about NFTs here now, I think. So I think that's one thing that's good. That a lot of the tourists are gone and you have the builders. And so I think that's one reason I'm excited about next week. We're gonna actually have a cigar afternoon, 2 p.m. on Thursday, if anyone wants to join us. I don't know if you smoke cigars far, but anyone that wants to join us for cigars on Thursday afternoon, let me know. We have a little group going. We're gonna have
I'll join. I like it. I like cigars. I'll join.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun.
I saw the place you chose. Very nice place, John, in the chat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love to organize stuff.
Yeah, nice venue. Nice venue.
Yeah.
Choice.
Awesome.
Yeah, super.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, John.
Yeah, nice to be here. Thanks a lot
Can
for having me
you
on.
tell the audience because this is not just streaming to Twitter, like this is going to YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. So
Sure.
maybe you can catch people to speed, do like a quick intro of who you are and what you're doing, and then we could jump in.
Sure. Yeah, and Far gets it for sure. He got it faster than almost anybody that we've met. So it'll be good to have his comments. Yeah, well, so I'm John Ennis. I'm the CEO of NeoSwap. I've got a PhD in math. I did my postdoc in computational neuroscience. Then I went into market research. I previously founded Agora, which is a successful enterprise AI services business. And then I started NeoSwap. And NeoSwap is really about the problem of finding, NeoSwap is really about the fact that Web3 and AI make a new type of commerce possible. We have a lot of talking about decentralizing money, that Bitcoin, the promise of Bitcoin decentralizes money. But I would say that's not going far enough. We have to actually decentralize commerce. And we need it to be that if you were to look at like a map of economic transactions, you would see everything is always passing through liquidity. And that's a bottleneck. That's a choke point, actually, which is very relevant with Operation Choke Point 2.0 happening right now. That when you always have to go through liquidity, there's a chance for capture. And it's much better if you're going to really realize the vision of Bitcoin to decentralize commerce altogether. And instead of everything having to always be sold before you have money to buy new things, what we really want is to have these kind of simultaneous trades where you have potentially many actors, you have lots of items, you've got maybe a little bit of currency, but not nearly as much as you would need in the old way. And you can get commerce to happen in low liquidity environments. And I think in Ordinals, it's going to be very relevant. I think we're going to have liquidity issues, especially at the beginning. We were talking about DeFi getting ramped up. I think there's going to be liquidity problems. And in order to get commerce to happen, we need to leverage some of these new tools. So I think that's really the exciting thing. I would hope that people participating in this hackathon kind of start to work on this problem. Because I feel like there's very few people, there are few other companies in the Web3 space that are doing there's a company, Anoma Network, they have a blockchain, which is kind of a barter type blockchain, okay? And that's sort of movement in the direction of what we're doing. But we want to go kind of all the way, where we have you've got both non-fungible and fungible assets all moving around at the same time. Get into the extent possible. But I really think that's an important problem, that there's a whole new form of commerce that's possible. And I would love to see other people working on this. On the Bitcoin side, there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of the mechanisms of having this. Like without smart contracts, it's much harder to do this. And so there's some really interesting problems that have to be solved. So that would be the hope for my participation here, is getting people excited about this new type of commerce.
Yeah, no, that's super. I think in general, the intersection between AI and Web3 and Bitcoin is just going to be, I can't even imagine what's going to come out of that, but that definitely is a future. That definitely is a future. But before we jump into that, I'm really curious how the two of you met. How did you guys meet, Far and John?
You want to know that, Far?
Well, we have a friend in common, I guess, is an employee NeoSwap. Well, what interests me about NeoSwap is it's really solving a problem that we have first of all, you have many people that they either hold. There's a few things. Let's put it this way. First of all, for an artist, you have this problem of launching a project, and you kind of you always like a struggle with how you do this, like how you price your work, how you actually do the auction. That's one of the problems that NeoSwap is solving. The other problem is like, okay, I have like a bunch of NFTs and I want to get another one, and you know, I may not have any liquidity, or I might have a liquidity, but you know, I want to trade. I don't want to trade what I have. So I think this is what I really like about NeoSwap, because it was offering this system like where you could get a new NFT using the your all something that you have already as a trading card, for instance, right? So it seems like a very, technically speaking, it's very complex, but the fundamental is very simple, right? Like this is what we want to do. So that's how we, you know, through Kiran, I got to know NeoSwap. So we started to talk to John about it, and it's fascinating. All the, you know, I don't know how long it's been, like maybe a year or less than a year.
Coming up
Yeah,
on a
because
year. Yeah.
you have a
Yeah,
year already. The company is 1 year old. So yeah, so I think I really like NeoSwap. I think they are doing cutting edge innovation, and I think they're gonna have like a big role in the NFTs in general.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm
Very
gonna get my phone and share a few tweets about NeoSwap in the space, if that's okay. So let me
yeah,
just, I'll
absolutely,
step back here.
absolutely. So while you're
I'm
setting that up, maybe Far, you could give some final inspirational words or encouraging words to all the builders joining this hackathon, or Bitcoin Olympics hackathon.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. This is great. I really like to try to inspire people to build something. That's something like I like a lot. So yeah, I think as I said before, it's a blank canvas. There's a lot of things to do, especially in the let's say in the cultural side of it. Like provided this user experience, there's many things that people can do. So I'm very excited about it. You know, people don't hesitate to reach out to me. You know, especially if you are into the topics that I mentioned before, like kind of like paving the way for artists to use, to inscribe and to leverage on the blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain. So that's what I would say. I think there is a lot to do. Like just go for it. Nothing is done. I mean, or very little is done. So I could say that there is chances that if people create something that is meaningful, like there is chances that it can be adopted as a standard too, right? Like that's the other thing. So it's yeah, it's a great moment.
Absolutely. Thank you for the words of inspiration and encouragement, and thank you for supporting the Bitcoin Olympics hackathon. And we'll try to push some people into this direction, right? And remember, give me that, you know, 1 or 2 lines on that, your wish list idea, and I'm going to make sure it gets in front of people. All right, let's see what happens in a week and a half. Hopefully, have some good. All right, thanks again.
Well, good luck for everyone.
Thank you. And again, school.taprootwizards.com. And exactly. How do we like, how do people learn about Fine?
Fine.digital.
Fine.digital. All right. So those are 2 projects Far is working on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. And thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Looking forward to next time.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.